What in the world did I just sit through? What did I just witness? I'm pretty sure I just had years shaved off the back end of my life. What a tough, ugly watch this game was, and on top of it, they lost. They lost.
When the Indiana Fever stepped onto the court Saturday night against the Los Angeles Sparks, everyone expected a different kind of story. What began as a routine game quickly turned into another episode of WNBA referee incompetence, and this time, the evidence was undeniable.
Here's the one thing with that last play that I'm speaking about. It seemed like they called it a loose ball foul at first, which would have been favorable for us because we have them in the bonus. Yeah, we were in the bonus with 5.5 minutes left to go. First time all season, I was shocked. We grabbed the rebound. Looked like they called it a loose ball foul. Yes, we could go to the free throw line. Oh, they changed it. Reset.
The Fever lost to the struggling Sparks 89-87. But the real story wasn't the final score. It was watching the refs turn their backs on basic player safety while completely ignoring Sophie Cunningham's face being grabbed right in front of them.
The LA Sparks just got the spark versus the Fever for some reason, man. But the Sparks always have matched up well with the Fever since last season, man. Tough ending for the Fever girls. Just some missed free throws, some questionable shots. Could have got it, man. Close game. I ain't even mad. The intensity is there, man. This team, if they can keep up this intensity, is going to be real nice when Caitlin Clark...
This wasn't just another bad night of officiating. This was systematic referee bias that exposed everything wrong with WNBA officiating when Sophie Cunningham was literally tackled to the ground in what started as a 50-50 challenge, then had her face grabbed, and the refs did absolutely nothing about it.
And the referees, let's just blame the referees and say, hey, but you called it loose ball foul. This was a game that we should have won. Again. And a game that we lost, unfortunately. 89-87, Los Angeles Sparks defeat.
Meanwhile, Sydney Colson made a perfectly clean play, only grabbing the ball with her hands, and these same refs called it a foul. The absurdity reached peak levels when they had to spend nearly 5 minutes at the monitor debating what should have been obvious: Colson's legal defensive play.
A disaster. This was a disaster. The Indiana Fever cannot keep losing to teams like the LA Sparks if they're supposed to be a good team. And Rickea Jackson, she just flat abused the Fever in the last 3 minutes of the game. Seriously, what?
The contradiction was mind-boggling. Cunningham gets her face grabbed after being tackled to the ground, and the officials act like they're watching paint dry. But Colson makes a textbook basketball play, using only her hands on the ball, and suddenly the refs are alert and ready with their whistles. The hypocrisy was so blatant that even the broadcasters couldn't hide their confusion at this ridiculous inconsistency.
Sydney Colson, man, shout out to her, dog. I can't overlook her. 6 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds with that intelligent block. Like it. 2 of 4 from the floor and then 2 of 3 from the 3. I mean, she was shooting like she was the scorer of the team. She put on her airy bag tonight.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. This is the same Sophie Cunningham who has been consistently targeted for protecting her teammates all season long. She's the player who stepped up when Caitlin Clark was getting mauled by opponents, and now she's the one needing protection that the refs refused to provide. The footage from Saturday night shows Cunningham being grabbed around the neck by Julie Van Loo during what should have been a routine loose ball situation, yet no foul was called. The refs deemed it a jump ball, as if violent contact to a player's face and neck area is just part of normal basketball play.
And we talk about this. We are circled on everybody's schedule. Everyone, no one likes us, right? So everyone in our locker room, that's the only type of people that we have that we can lean on, and we got to be better in that area. We have got to stay disciplined. We have to stay focused. We need to get consistent, and we got to lean on each other. And I think that we've kind of wavered a little bit on that. We have our own islands, but you know, as one of the leaders on the team, I got to do a better job of grouping people, right? In the fourth.
What makes this even more infuriating is that we're talking about the same referee crew that spent an eternity at the monitor reviewing Sydney Colson's clean block on Rickea Jackson. Colson made a perfect defensive play, only touching the ball. Yet, The refs initially called it a foul and then needed 5 minutes of deliberation to overturn their obviously wrong call. The fact that they had to challenge such a clear defensive play shows just how lost these officials are. The pattern here isn't just bad officiating, it's selective enforcement that protects certain players while leaving others vulnerable to assault. When Cunningham gets grabbed by the face, suddenly the refs develop selective blindness. But when Coulson makes a clean defensive play, they're ready to blow the whistle faster than you can blink. This double standard has plagued the Indiana Fever all season, and Saturday night was the most blatant example yet.
They went with Lexi Hall in the starting lineup, and she was just trying to get charge calls all night, trying to get the charge calls because she was lacking with the size with Rakia Jackson. So I understood why she was doing it and trying to get Rakia in foul trouble. It was smart. But at the end of the day, that last play, you never flop and give the ref the game to call. You never flop in the clutch moment, man. I'm sorry. I did not.
The absurdity reached its peak when you consider that the Fever lost to the Los Angeles Sparks, literally one of the worst teams in the WNBA this season. The Sparks entered the game with a 5-13 record, holding the second worst record in the entire league. This is a team that has been struggling all season. Yet, they managed to beat the Fever largely because the referees refused to call obvious fouls while making phantom calls on clean plays. Caitlin Clark was desperately needed for this game, and all those analysts saying the Indiana Fever are better without Clark have been exposed as completely delusional. You could see from the game that they were missing their superstar badly. With Clark healthy and on the court, the Fever would probably have won comfortably. Instead, they're forced to battle both their opponents and the referees while missing their best player.
Let's point out the obvious. A lot of people said it. We can officially rest in peace. R.I.P. Undertaker. Tombstone Piledriver. The theory that this team is better without Caitlin Clark. ESPN, you got your ears on? We can officially Tombstone Piledrive that BS. If you can't see how incredibly limited the Indiana Fever are on offense without CC, you're either not watching or you don't know what you're watching.
The Indiana Fever now sit at 9-9, but they're probably 1-0 against the refs because these officials just don't want to make any calls in their favor. Every game becomes an uphill battle where they have to overcome not just their opponents but also systematic bias from officials who seem determined to make their lives as difficult as possible. When your team has to use challenges on obvious calls while getting no protection from violent plays, you know the system is broken. During the game, Sophie Cunningham was grabbed around the neck by Julie Van Loo in the first quarter while diving for a loose ball. The contact was clear, deliberate, and unnecessary. Any competent referee would have immediately called this an obvious foul with potential for escalation. Instead, these officials called it a jump ball and acted like nothing happened. Even more disgustingly, they showed no concern for Cunningham's safety or well-being after the incident. Sophie Cunningham is unfairly targeted, while Sydney Coulson's clean block was wrongly penalized. The refs called a foul on Coulson's legal defensive play, forcing the Fever to challenge an obvious good defense. Then, these same officials spent nearly 5 minutes at the monitor debating whether Coulson's textbook defensive play was legal. Think about the message this sends. Grab a player around the face and neck. No problem. Play on. Make a clean defensive play using proper technique. That's a foul that requires several minutes of video review to get right. The incompetence is so blatant it borders on criminal negligence. These refs are literally putting player safety at risk with their selective enforcement of the rules.